Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy, who went to prison last month to serve his sentence for criminal conspiracy, could be released after 20 days behind bars. Sarkozy, the first former president of modern France to have spent any time in jail. His legal team has filed a request for early release while awaiting his appeal trial. Well, we can cross now to Camille Knight to get the latest. Camille, that Paris appeal court set to examine Nicolas Sarkozy's request in about an hour from now.
That's right, and it might be a bit confusing for people who've been following from home, knowing that just 3 weeks ago, the former president was walking into La Santé prison, and that barely 20 days later, he could be walking out as soon as this evening, before having carried out his 5-year sentence. Now, of course, he won't be walking out a free man. It's very likely he'd be under strict judicial supervision, potentially having to wear an electronic tag or regularly checking in with authorities. That, of course, will all be decided today. Nicolas Sarkozy won't be attending in person. He'll be joining via a video link. But it's important to explain really what it is that's being decided today, because it won't actually have an impact on the sentence itself. Judges are examining Sarkozy's lawyer's appeal for early release pending his appeals trial that we expect will be taking place about March. So it's only for those few months leading up to it, because what was quite surprising about and somewhat controversial about this case was the judge's decision to pretty much send him to jail effective immediately, whether or not he filed an appeal, which he did. And Sarkozy's lawyers will, of course, today be arguing that that was an unreasonable decision.
Okay, so give us the legal grounds that will make or break this request for Nicolas Sarkozy.
Yeah, so this judge's decision is known as exécution provisoire in France, so sending someone to jail immediately, regardless of whether they file an appeal or not. And usually it's used in cases where the accused is potentially a flight risk or is at risk of reoffending, or even could mess with the investigation itself. So lawyers will be arguing that neither of these can really be applied to Nicolas Sarkozy here. The judge who convicted him said that it was the severity of the case that justified that decision. Just as a reminder, Sarkozy was convicted of conspiring to obtain funds from the late Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi, so essentially opening up the French presidency to foreign influence. And of course, if that whether or not that 5-year sentence will be upheld will be decided in March.
Camille Knight at the Paris Appeals Court, thanks very much indeed.